Hey guys, so today I decided to show you how to make flan. Flan is a traditional Hispanic dessert. Everybody makes it different ways. Today I'm going to show you how to make it the way my mom does, which is my favorite kind of flan. It makes a very dense, creamy flan. One of my aunts likes her flan really soft, so she makes it differently. Maybe one day I'll share her way of making it with you. But for this version, you're gonna need eggs, evaporated milk, condensed milk, a little bit of sugar. I don't add too much sugar to my desserts. You'll notice that as I start to make desserts here, because although I love sweets, I love desserts, I don't like them too sweet. Vanilla extract, and then for the caramel part of the flan, you're gonna need sugar, more sugar, and water. So it's pretty simple, but it does take a few key things to make the best flan, and I'm going to share that with you. And tip number one is room temperature ingredients. So really the only thing you got to worry about are the eggs. So you want to take out the eggs hours before you make the flan. You could even take them out the night before because you want them to be room temperature. Now the reason you want that is so that all of these ingredients mix better together, they'll emulsify better, and they'll make one liquid rather than having, you know how sometimes you scramble eggs and you have like pieces in there? You don't want that. You want this to be one liquid. So tip number one, room temperature ingredients. Tip number two would be to make it in a blender, again, so that it emulsifies it. So the way I start is I put in the evaporated milk. Then I'm going to go ahead and add the sweetened condensed milk. And the reason why I do this first this way is because the sweetened condensed milk is the thickest ingredient here. So this is what's really going to need the most blending. So I get it all in there. I love this stuff. Truth be told, I could make this recipe with just the condensed milk, no additional sugar, and I'd be just fine with that. But I know that a lot of people wouldn't like that, so add a little bit more sugar. Okay, so you got all of that in there. Save that for me. And then you just blend it up. So once you have that blended up, you just add the rest of the ingredients. I don't add one egg at a time like a lot of people do. I only do that if it is very necessary, and in my opinion, it's just not here. Then we're gonna add the vanilla. I don't have a lot here, so I'll just add whatever is left. And the eggs. And again, you just blend it up. So our flan mixture is ready. It's set aside. We're gonna work on the caramel now. So we're gonna go ahead and add the sugar and add our water. So a tip for making the caramel is you never want to stir that mixture with a spoon. You can just stir the pot a little bit like this in the beginning, and that's it. You're going to leave it alone after that. We're going to turn on the burner and just wait until this turns like an amber color. Be very careful because sugar burns are really bad. Ask me how I know. So it's been about 5 minutes, and this is what we're looking like so far. So this is 10 minutes in. This is what it's looking like. If you can tell, it's like slightly yellow. So it has a way to go. This process takes a while. So after 25 minutes, our caramel is finally ready. It's finally at the perfect color. And we're gonna go ahead and drizzle it in our pan. You wanna do that really carefully. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to tilt your pan so that the caramel coats as much as the pan as possible. The caramel will stick to the walls of your pan. So after you do that, you just pour in your mixture. You can also make this in those like disposable tin pans. I've made it in there a bunch of times. So pour this in. And you'll probably hear the caramel crack because of the differences in temperatures. But don't worry about it, everything is fine. So another tip for making the flan is it has to be baked in a water bath, just like any other custard. So you're gonna put your pan inside of a baking sheet, or a roasting pan would be even better because it's deeper. So you're gonna put this in the oven, and then you're gonna fill it up with water as much as possible. So then I'm gonna go ahead and bake it, and once it's done, I'm gonna just leave it on the counter to cool for like an hour or so. And then I'm gonna put it in the fridge, and I'm gonna let it cool completely overnight. One of my most important tips that I'm gonna give you now is you do not want to over bake this, okay? So basically, you're gonna take this out of the oven when it's still a little bit jiggly. So it'll be probably about an hour, but it depends on what kind of pan you're using. See, I'm using a really big pan, it's pretty deep. This is gonna take a pretty long time to cook. If you were making it in smaller ramekins, it's gonna take less time. But in my recipe, I'm gonna tell you how long to bake it if you were to bake it in a similar pan like this. But the key is to not over bake it. So when you take this out of the oven, it's still gonna be a little bit jiggly, and the residual heat will continue to cook it, and it's gonna be perfect, because overcooked flan is not good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the oven, and I'll show you what this looks like tomorrow. So it's the next day, and the flan chilled overnight in the fridge. Look how beautiful and golden it came out. It cooked for about an hour and 25 minutes in that size pan. Then I took it out the oven. I let it cool for about 2 hours on the counter, and then I put it in the fridge overnight. Now, if you don't want to let it cool overnight, I would suggest starting to make this early in the day, because you do want to put it in the fridge for about at least 4 hours so that it cools. So I'm going to cut myself a piece. It's so silky and dense. So look at that texture. It's so smooth, and that was from the room temperature ingredients, emulsifying it in the blender. Let's try it. It's perfect classic flan. You have to try this with those tips that I gave you, and you will learn how to make flan. If you don't like your sweets too sweet like I do, you can even omit the sugar and just use the condensed milk. If you like regularly sweet desserts, just keep the recipe just like it is. I hope you try this. The recipe will be on my website, eatingitupblog.com, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.